Campaign heats up with the youth vote a key demographic. Republican candidate Vivek Ramaswamy wants to increase American patriotism. Here's his idea. He wants to raise the voting age from 18 to 25 unless you sign up for some form of civil service. You got a lot of options on that, or if you pass an American civics test.
I think we will make it more desirable to vote by actually adding more meaning to the act of voting rather than just a motion that people go through or are accustomed to going through. And so I think that'll actually be positive for our civic culture. And I also think that this can be unifying.
Okay. Rikki Schlott, columnist for the New York Post. Lawrence Jones, host of Cross Country, Saturdays 9 o'clock Eastern, here on the Fox News Channel. Hello to you both.
Hello.
Rikki, you just came back from New Hampshire, right? You were with Vivek Ramaswamy. Here is his idea. 18 to 24-year-olds are only able to vote if they serve in the military, do civil service as a firefighter or EMT, or pass a civics test. You like the idea?
I agree with him that civics education is a problem in this country, that patriotism is at record lows in my generation, but I don't think this is a way to solve it. I think, if anything, it's going to disenfranchise us and make us even more resentful of our country.
Who's we?
Gen Z. I'm 22. I have skin in the game here. I would like to retain my right to vote, but also 2/3 of American adults couldn't pass a citizenship test. So why does your ignorance become acceptable at 25? Should we, if this is our standard, should it not be across the board?
Okay, so that is one issue. And by the way, the GOP polling on the ideal candidate right now is Donald Trump at 53%, Ron DeSantis 20%, Mike Pence 5%, Nikki Haley 4%, Vivek Ramaswamy 4%. Lawrence Jones is here. Who's the youth vote leaning into right now?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a particular candidate that they totally agree with. I think that the youth vote is going to be whatever candidate is going to make life better for them when it comes to the economy. And I think a lot of young people miss the Trump years where we were able to have more money in our pocket and businesses were flourishing, giving these young people extra hours. But back to Vivek, he, like many of the other candidates, are trying to do anything they can do to catch some type of fire. I think the idea is obviously pandering. A young person really doesn't have this point of view. I mean, I was expecting the old typical 60-year-old white Republican to, put this idea out there. Not this guy, but he shows you the rut that they're in, trying to find some way to go against Donald Trump. And this indictment only makes it worse for them, because now I think there is going to be some Republicans that are going to say, okay, this is it. Well, they're going after him for some reason. It's time for the Republican Party to coalesce behind Donald Trump. I just don't see anyone in this race right now that has that fire in their belly that can go against the man.
So, but for young people, you agree with Rikki?
I totally agree. It's such a stupid idea. And by the way, I'm not trying to earn my citizenship. I mean, I'm here already. I was born in the country. Don't ask me to get an extra test. That's why I think the whole idea is just pandering.
Well, I'll go ahead.
I was going to say, I think this is more of an indictment on our education system. Already by 8th grade, only 22% of 8th graders have civics baseline levels. And so, point the finger not at young people, but at our education system that's clearly failing them.
Yeah.
Well, I brought this up on our call earlier. Vivek Ramaswamy on our program in the afternoon, we had him on earlier this week, and he called for a ban on all U.S. corporations to do business in China unless they came to certain terms, the United States corporations and President Xi. And I thought, what is the youth vote going to think about their iPhone going away? Because we know the amount of business Apple does in China.
This is Vivek's idea. You wrote the piece, right? I'm reading what you wrote here, and you're right about 22% of 8th graders. But Ramaswamy says only 16% of 18 to 25-year-olds say they're proud to be Americans.
Yeah.
And only 23% of them are voting in the first place. But this whole idea about being proud of your country.
Yeah, but
how could we, I'm not saying you or you, but how can we as a group slip that low?
Well, we failed our young people, by the way. They don't know what it means to be American. There are so many people that believe that what it means to be American is by the person that's running the country, or the country at its worst times. So when you have a whole generation that has only been taught the bad of America and not the greatness of America, don't be surprised if they have low faith or confidence in their patriotism. I think the adults should take some responsibility on this as well.
Got it. Rikki, last comment on this. After 9/11, you saw that same group of Americans rush to the front lines in the war on terror.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the context that we're growing up in as Gen Zers, the first election that I remember with any sort of maturity is 2016. And we've grown up in the era of like lesser of two evils American politics, where our Thanksgiving tables are being torn apart by partisanship. Everyone feels pretty compromised by the voting options that they have in front of them. And so I think there's no wonder that we're growing up and we're saying, oh, there's something wrong here. And we're not too excited and invigorated about where our country's going.
Real quickly, Bill,
yes.
You mentioned 9/11. Remember, some of these kids weren't even born. They don't know what that means. I was in third grade.
I'm 2000, so I don't remember.
Just to put it into context, we rallied around that moment. But if you didn't experience it, it's one thing to read it in the book. It's another to have your parents rush you out of school because they believe that it could potentially be the next target.
Thank you, LJ. See you Saturday night?
Yes, sir.
All right, Rikki Schlott, come on back, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Love
thank
you
you
so much.
Thank you.
Good discussion.